If you're chasing cinema-quality audio without breaking the bank, you're in the right place for a fast, energy-filled countdown as we dive into the best soundbar under $500 to upgrade your TV nights. These picks balance performance, features, and value so you can find a great fit for your room and budget. Today, I'm going to be going over the subject that you can get right now. All of the products mentioned are linked in the description, so check them out if you're interested in any of them. With that, let's begin. At number 5, we have the MZEIBO Soundbar. This compact 2.1 channel system sits at the budget end of the market, but punches above its weight in everyday TV watching, gaming, and casual music listening. The bar itself houses 2 full-range drivers and a dedicated wireless subwoofer that tucks neatly out of sight, delivering a surprisingly tight low end that makes explosions feel grounded without overwhelming dialogue. In terms of connectivity, you get HDMI ARC for simple TV control, optical input for older setups, a USB port for local playback, and Bluetooth 5 for streaming from phones and tablets. The remote is uncluttered, and the on-bar controls are laid out plainly, so you can switch inputs, adjust volume, or toggle listening modes without pulling out a manual. Sound signature favors a balanced daytime voice with moderate brightness, so you hear speech clearly even when the room has reflective surfaces. The treble range adds airiness to high-frequency effects like cymbals and glass without becoming shrill at higher volume. The subwoofer is not punishing. It blends with the bar to avoid that muddy, bass-heavy effect that can ruin the overall mix, delivering a punchy presence that supports action sequences without stealing attention from the dialogue. MZEIBO has included a few useful modes for living room listening. Movie mode tightens the bass and widens the soundstage. Music mode softens the peakiness that sometimes appears in budget bars, and night mode trims the dynamic range for late-night viewing. Setup is straightforward. The bar's slim footprint means it sits neatly beneath most televisions, and the wireless subwoofer eliminates extra cables. For wall mounting, the included hardware and template make alignment simple, and once mounted, the bar remains relatively inconspicuous behind the TV. Build quality feels sturdy without tipping into premium heft, and the grille hides the drivers with a clean, understated aesthetic that fits most decors. If you swap to a gaming night, you'll notice improved cueing from gunshots and environmental sounds, while voice remains intelligible even when explosions roll in behind it. Value here is less about luxury and more about delivering a complete, confident baseline performance that still respects your wallet. In practice, this is one of those options that you can trust for daily viewing and casual listening, especially when streaming music via Bluetooth from a phone or tablet. Compared to the Bose TV Speaker, which I have included as number 4 on this list, the MZEIBO Soundbar offers a broader soundstage, a stronger low end, and more flexible inputs that adapt to modern setups without needing extra adapters or adapters. You'll discern a more cinematic texture in film soundtracks and a more satisfying bass extension during action scenes, which helps the overall immersion without sacrificing dialogue clarity in normal TV volume. The MZEIBO is not going to dethrone premium brands, but it earns its keep by providing ample, balanced sound that satisfies most family rooms and budget-conscious buyers who still want a respectable home theater vibe. At number 4, we have the Bose TV Speaker. This compact 2-driver soundbar is designed for simplicity and voice clarity, a niche that Bose has long mastered in small-form audio. The cabinet is intentionally slim, and the sound projects forward with a smooth, even balance that prioritizes speech without the loudness wars you sometimes hear with larger bars. Bose equips the TV speaker with a pair of full-range drivers connected to a refined waveguide that helps spread sound evenly across a room. The result is crisp dialogues and an overall tonal balance that feels polished in everyday TV watching and streaming. Bluetooth input adds flexibility for listening to music from a phone or tablet, while the optical input ensures a clean bridge to most televisions. There is no HDMI ARC on this model, which means volume control and input switching can require extra remotes or TV remote quirks if you want perfectly integrated operation. The absence of a separate subwoofer keeps the footprint small, which matters to renters or smaller living spaces where space is at a premium. If you care about voice reproduction, Bose includes a dialogue enhancement feature that nudges speech forward in the mix, helping conversations cut through the background effect. That said, the Bose voice-forward approach can sometimes leave other frequencies feeling a touch subdued when you push the volume higher, turning the listening experience a bit more studio-like than cinematic. Still, the Bose TV speaker nails the core mission of clear, intelligible dialogue, and it does so with an understated elegance that matches its price. The design uses a premium-looking grille and a compact profile that blends into most entertainment setups, while the on-bar controls are pleasantly tactile, and the device pairs easily with Bose's own ecosystem for multi-room or wireless audio if you expand later. In gaming, you'll get reliable directional cues from the built-in drivers, though you may want a separate subwoofer later if you crave deeper bass for action scenes. Paired to the ZVOX AV157, which I have included as number 3 on this list, the Bose TV speaker emphasizes speech clarity and simplicity over raw bass depth or specialized listening modes, a trade-off that suits many viewers who value straightforward TV sound over more laboratory-tuned experiences. As someone who is building a compact, easy-to-use system with a focus on dialogue, the Bose remains a reference in this price tier. At number 3, we have the ZVOX AV157. Soundbar sits in the middle of the pack in terms of size and price, but it leans into its built-in performance features with a distinctly forward-looking voice-centric approach. A AV157 lineup typically ships with 2 full-range drivers and an internal mini-woofer, creating a surprisingly coherent 2.1 configuration that emphasizes clarity without burying the bass under explosions. ZVOX has made its name by focusing on hearing-friendly technology, and the AV157 deploys a combination of psychoacoustic processing and a tuned speech mode that helps words cut through a busy soundtrack. In practice, you'll notice dialogue that comes through with a sense of presence, as if the characters are speaking a touch closer than the surrounding effects. The overall tonal balance is smooth, avoiding harsh peaks in the upper mid-range, which matters when you're streaming programs or watching talk shows. You also get the typical ZVOX approach to room correction and voice emphasis, which can come in handy when you're trying to compress all the action into a single listening space without running your speakers at destructive volumes. Remote control is straightforward, the grille covers are sturdy, and the included mounting option leaves you with a clean wall setup if you decide to go that route. HDMI and optical inputs cover the modern TV needs, and you can still enjoy Bluetooth streaming when you want to listen to music without the TV involved. In gaming, the AV157 delivers crisp footsteps and solid object-associated cues, though the bass will not punch you in the chest with the same force you get from a larger system. Soundstage feels wider than some compact bars, which helps with immersive space in a surround-sounding scene even though it's a single bar. The difference versus the Saiyin Soundbar, number 2 on this list, is that ZVOX leans into voice fidelity more than deep sub-bass, while Saiyin takes a broader, more all-around family-friendly approach with a more prominent sub-bass presence. In this sense, the AV157 is ideal for late-night viewing where speech remains king, but you still want a sense of scale to the on-screen action. Compared to the Saiyin Soundbar, which I have included as number 2 on this list, you'll find the ZVOX speaks with more clarity and a more deliberate voice presence, though Saiyin provides a larger bottom-end presence thanks to its subwoofers and robust bass design. At number 2, we have the Saiyin Soundbar. This model is built for people who want more bass and a bigger overall footprint than the most compact bars, but you still get a compact ceiling of tech features that makes it a solid value under $500. Saiyin Soundbar typically ships with a dedicated subwoofer and a clump of drivers that deliver a wider, more dynamic sound. You'll find Bluetooth 5 for wireless streaming, an HDMI ARC connection for single remote TV control, optical input for legacy devices, and a USB port for local playback or troubleshooting tools. Sound signature tends toward a fuller, more cinematic tone with a punchy low end that gives movies weight without muffling dialogues, a balance that makes it versatile for sports, streaming, and casual gaming. 2-channel bar is supplemented by a capable external subwoofer that enriches the mid-bass and extends the low end into the 40-60 Hz range in practical listening. Mid-range is clear enough to retain vocal intelligibility, while the treble brings air to high-frequency effects such as cymbals and audio cues in video games. You'll notice the effect of the subwoofer even at moderate volumes, where the listening experience grows from good to satisfying, a step above very lean bars at this price. Saiyin system is designed to fill mid-sized living rooms with a sense of scale that's more akin to a compact theater than a simple TV speaker, which makes it a particularly good choice for families who watch a mix of movies, sports, and streaming content. In day-to-day use, you'll appreciate how easy it is to switch between inputs and how the system handles voice and music differently in its dedicated modes. Gaming becomes more engaging because environmental sounds feel richer and more connected to the on-screen action. And comparing to the WebsLand Soundbar, which I have included as number 1 on this list, you'll hear a larger bass footprint in Saiyin and a broader, more immersive soundstage that captures more detail in the low and mid frequencies. Paired to the WebsLand Soundbar, which I have included as number 1 on this list, the Saiyin Soundbar offers more bass presence and a more cinematic sound signature, though WebsLand often edges ahead in terms of stage width due to its detachable tweeters and a design that emphasizes dispersion and clarity in the middle of the room. At number 1, we have the WebsLand Soundbar. This top-ranked option in our under $500 field brings a thoughtful blend of features, practical design, and adaptable sound that makes it a strong candidate for most living rooms. The bar itself keeps a slim silhouette, but conceals a surprisingly robust audio array. Detachable tweeters for broader dispersion, a pair of mid-range drivers, and an integrated sub that can be helped by a separate wireless sub if you want an even deeper bass foundation. Connectivity is versatile, with HDMI ARC for seamless TV control, optical for broad compatibility, Bluetooth 5 for wireless streaming, and a USB input that is convenient for local playback or firmware updates. Detachable tweeters, in particular, are a neat touch for larger seating areas or open-plan spaces where sound needs to reach listeners who aren't directly in front of the bar. Sonic character tends to be neutral with a gentle tilt toward warmth, so voices stay clear even when you're listening at moderate volumes, while music takes on a natural tonality that avoids the clinical edge you sometimes get from more clinical-sounding bars. WebsLand Soundbar also offers a responsive user experience, with quick startup times, intuitive on-bar controls, and simple setup that doesn't require a manual marathon to get your favorite sources online. In practical daily use, Bluetooth streaming sounds clean, the optical input handles nighttime TV viewing without hiss, and the HDMI ARC interface lets you control most changes from the TV remote. Soundstage is surprisingly wide for a compact system, enabling sounds to originate from slightly off to the left or right, which helps with pacing and immersion. In gaming, this translates to better environmental cues and a more convincing sense of space during exploration and firefights. The result is a balanced package that goes beyond mere dialogue clarity and borders on complete entertainment value within a tight budget. Paired to the Saiyin soundbar, which I have included as number 2 on this list, the WebsLand soundbar emphasizes dispersion and overall tonal balance, trading a bit of extra low-end heft for a wider soundstage and a more even distribution of mids and highs when you're seated off-axis. For many buyers who want a clean, capable, easy-to-use bar with room-filling performance, the WebsLand is a compelling choice that wraps up strong features, straightforward setup, and reliable daily performance without demanding a premium.